So we're heading out to SBG D24 to meet the legendary Paddy The Hooligan Holohan. He's coming on as a guest on my show and podcast Life Chats. It's going to be class. We're going to have a quick chat about his life, his ups and downs, his struggles, what he learned, so we can all take something from that. Hopefully learn a thing or two and try and be a little bit better in our own lives. And the main thing is that he doesn't get me in a rear naked chokehold, because I'm actually bricking about that, to be honest with you. Tune in. It's going to be good. What's up, guys? Welcome to Live Chats. I'm Martin Eastwood, and I have the privilege of being joined this week by none other than Paddy The Hooligan Holohan. What's up, brother? Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
I have been having nightmares all night that you're going to get me in a rear naked chokehold.
You're safe. You're safe.
Keep the distance.
You're safe.
So look, we're here to have a quick chat about your life, your ups and downs and stuff like that. Some of the things that you've learned along the road before, like someone who might not know who you are. Do you want to just give a quick description?
Used to fight in the UFC. I'm a counsellor in my own area now. I'd be somebody that kind of sticks by trying to be as true as you can be. I think that's extremely important.
Savage. Go ahead.
Jeez, my phone all ringing there. Some of that brings me phone to interviews as well.
Keeps it real.
Yeah, so I literally I try to stay by the stoic way in this.
Yeah, that's savage. So take us back to the start. You're a working class man like myself.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up? What was life like back for you?
So I grew up in Jobstown, but I grew up between Jobstown and a place in Belfast called Andersonstown.
Andytown in Belfast?
Andytown,
Lived there for 6 months.
I did. So I lived there for most of my childhood and in between with Jobstown. So I would kind of be a Belfast boy and a Dublin boy at the same time, you know. Staunch Dublin accent. I used to be called Ronnie Drew as a kid, by my uncles and aunties. And it was kind of funny. My own kid is 8 months now and he doesn't even talk yet, but he sounds like Ronnie Drew. It's like he has a microphone.
Can he sing like him?
I hope so. So I grew up in a single parent household, working class, neighbourhood, Jobstown, Belfast, Lanadine, and I loved it. I wouldn't change it for that.
Class. And that's what I was going to say, like, did it ever become like, did you ever feel like in any way that you were at a disadvantage from being from Jobstown? Or did you look
not really. I'd feel stereotypes. I understand that. I still understand that to these days, to be honest. Would you believe, like, only a few months ago, I came out of my house, I was going to do an interview on RTE, and they sent a taxi to me, right? And the taxi driver wouldn't take off until I paid him, outside my house, right? And I'm talking about a few months ago, right? And I said to myself, no, we collected you, it was in this house in the state before, and they ran on me like, mate, this is on a bleeding meter, like, this is on an account. You know what I mean? And you know what? He was like, no, you have to give me €50. I said, you know what, mate, stick it up your arse.
Fair play,
yeah. So now listen, I'm used to this, but people don't, I won't say it's normal, but it's normalised. It's normal for people to look at somebody, say in a tracksuit, or look at somebody from work class, and just think of who they are, and just be like, scumbags. And you know what? It's not people's fault as well. It's the media's fault, and it's the perception that the lads that look bogey are the ones that you need to be caring of. You need to be watching the motherfuckers in the suits. That's what you need to be watching.
I'm delusional, I'm not wearing this.
Yeah, you need to be watching the bankers. You need to be watching the politicians, the guys that are making decisions on the medical care, the guys that are making decisions on all of this stuff. They're the ones to be watching, because I'm telling you, the boys that you would expect to be the bogies in your list are probably the ones that you would come and help you if something happened. When, say, a fight breaks out, they're probably stepping forward breaking that fight up. It's just normal. You won't have some suit lad in the middle breaking it up and telling you so.
And like those perceptions, are they from years of like propaganda from the media, force feeding you like that Jobstown's a bad area or whatever the case is?
The thing would be, right, is it's very easy to make anywhere a bad area. We can make anywhere a bad area if we have mass interaction with people. That's how it works. So like, if 20 things go good in Jobstown, and then a bad thing goes tomorrow, the front of the newspaper will be the bad thing. Yeah, and listen, I know this better than anybody else, that is, even you start doing well, like newspapers and stuff like that are as bad as the other people. Like, I think I was on the front of a newspaper there not too long ago, right? And like, Brendan Grace was a small little paragraph beside me, that was like that about his death and stuff like that. And you're telling me now it's crazy. Like, why you mentioned the newspaper? That's fuckers. But he had a small little paragraph, and we had this big paragraph. And like, they wouldn't have probably had this paragraph up until we got elected. You know what I mean? Or the party that was with Sinn Féin as well. So it's, oh, watch what's coming. And other people are starting to see it as well now, which is great. So hopefully they use the power and the idea of being able to, they say what's good and what's bad and stuff like that, because some of them people are not stand-up people themselves, you know. I'd love to see their resume, and I'd love to see them be able to walk in people's shoes for a few hours and see how they get on.
No doubt about it. Well, look, you mentioned there at the start, before we get into that, the UFC, obviously, fucking mad not to mention it. How did you first get involved in MMA, Paddy, and move to the UFC? Tell us a bit about that journey.
So it's no secret to people out here, like, mentally I've always been challenged in a way. Like, sometimes I don't know, I'm emotional. I think when I'm, especially growing up, I was sometimes I'm really, really happy, sometimes I'm really, really sad. So I don't know, it just moves around. Don't know, I miss some milestones or something in my life, but I've been really good at kind of balancing that. But it wasn't until I found Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is, I didn't go to fight in the UFC. I didn't go to be a professional fighter. I went to try to fix myself, and I was trying to find things, and I ended up walking into a gym, and it was Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I still say it to this day, if you feel like you're lost in your life, or if you feel like you're not going the right direction, let me tell you one thing, this is the answer. It's like, take this pill, I promise you. And then people come back to me a few weeks later and they're like, Paddy, it works, oh my God. And they're running off telling everyone else it works, and I'm like, I know it works. My biggest, hardest thing in life now is to just get people to come in the door and realise that it's not this crazy, scary thing. You don't have to go and compete. You don't have to do anything. It's like, I don't know, it's like coming to church every month. I'm not religious, but that must be what people get out of religion, what I get out of jiu-jitsu. So it's for anybody. It's for yourself. It's for like the guy in there toiling. It's for yourself. It's one of these things that, like, I've heard, one of my running mate, actually, Louise Dunn, she's a counsellor too, and she's an amazing person. And she's only had to start training a little bit, like, and now she's saying, like, Paddy, this is after saving my life. This is, and I was like, I know all the words that come out are the same words that come out of people that started. For me, I went to try and save my well-being and my mental health, and I was having a kid at the time, and I just didn't want to be a little teared away, you know. So I wanted to be somebody. I didn't want to be a UFC fighter. Not that I didn't want to be it, but that wasn't the main plan. The main plan was to just fix myself on one thing led to the next.
And it worked for you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because the physical is directly related to the mental, even though you might not think about it. But
it's easy. We know the answer. Eat well, exercise, and do that. But people are like, yeah, but not that one. What's the other one? There's no other answer.
That is the answer.
If you start off, right, and that's but I seen this great post, and it was about, it was actually Jim Carrey, I think, that posted it, and he said about depression. He says, I don't really believe in depression. He says, I believe in depression after this. Have you tried to change your group of friends? Have you tried to change your mindset? Have you read a few books? Have you kept away from your phone? Have you ate well? Have you exercised? Have you maybe viewed your relationship that you're in? And then check to see how happy you were. Or did you just go straight away to undepressed? And that's what people do, and it's so easy to just get the answer and then take the pill, and then maybe it goes away, maybe it doesn't, but that's the easy answer. And the only answer that answer only suits people that are profiting from hardship. Yeah. Not profiting from depression, and profit from all these things. Now, I know what problems there is, this is needed, the pills are needed, seeing doctors are needed, talking to people is needed. But it gets to a certain stage where a doctor, you come in and you should be saying, listen, you need to get rid of your fucking girlfriend because she keeps stressing you out and pressuring you, or all your mates, you need to get rid of them, you need to go and do extra exercise, and you need to go and eat well. So get out of my office. Yeah. You'll never find a doctor saying that. I'll say that to you in here. You come in and you're, oh, my girlfriend, and so I say, we'll do it once or twice, 3 times, and then you come in again, and I'll be like, listen here, man. Your problem is you're trying to find happiness in other people, or maybe your girlfriend's trying to find happiness in other people. You need to be real with ourselves. That's a huge part of it. That's
huge. You know what? I mean, I know you recently. Congratulations on the election, by the way, getting elected a local seat in Jonestown. That's class, and I have to say, I think it's inspiring that, you know, someone in that situation is speaking the way you're speaking. Because as you said, that sort of advice doesn't come from a doctor.
No.
That comes from someone like yourself or Tony Robbins or something like that. Do you know what I mean? They're people who you should be listening to, in my opinion, because your environment is so important. Who you surround yourself with is so critical to happiness. So you've made a great point there. When you left the UFC, Paddy, you know, I read a little bit about that myself in terms of the rare blood disease and stuff like that. Was that a big blow for you at the time? How did you deal with that yourself? Was it?
Yeah, it was fucking hard, man. But even before you said that, is the idea of saying, listening to people that, I always say that the people that have came through the system are probably the best people to navigate the system. Because that's the way it is. You can't read the system out of a book. If you get lost in the jungle somewhere and then all of a sudden you find someone else lost, there's a good chance you're able to say, listen, no, we went that way, don't go that way, that it's a dead end, it's crocodile, let's go this way. Like, that person probably would have just went straight down that way, met the crocodiles, met the same stuff, and then came back. Now, it's not that bad now, it is an experience now.
Yeah.
But navigating the system is about who was in the system. If you came through the system, there's a good chance you know better than anyone else. Because you went wrong and then found one way right. You went the right way, that led you the right way, but the other things, they directed you towards that when you even knew it. You know what I mean? So the idea with the UFC was, I was handed an opportunity, well not handed an opportunity, I aimed an opportunity, I took an opportunity to be able to change my whole family's life and to be part of a group of people that I knew at that moment was going to be like Niall Quinn and even Paddy Bonner and all these guys, you know what I mean? I stuck with the folklore and all that, it never changes. So when I was walking out to fight in Dublin the first time I was fighting, I knew that. So I was well aware that I wasn't going out and being like, oh wow, and then I went crazy. Because I love all that stuff. Paddy Bonner used to be my favourite footballer. I was born in 1988 and like the boys done well in the 94 World Cup. I was 6, you know what I mean? So I didn't really know that. But I didn't know being engaged with them boys. Like when I see the ad coming on when Ray Houghton puts the ball in the net against England, like we still get it. So it's still in me. So I knew when I was walking to that cage that night, I was like, this is for bigger than everything. This is bigger than my families now. It's bigger than everything, you know what I mean? The people walking me to this cage, people in the crowd, the people that are shooting the show, this is bigger than all of them.
How did you know that though?
Because I just know, I knew what it took to get there. Do you get what I mean? So when does this come out?
This?
Yeah.
Probably in about 4 weeks time. Around September.
2,000 years later.
So we'll be able to, so when my book comes out, you'll be able to read about what
savage, happy days.
So that gets announced on Thursday. So we wrote my autobiography with Richie Barrett wrote it, amazing guy, it took us about a year to do it. And I'm telling you now, it's been like therapy. I'm a better person to have to do that alone. Because there's some things that happen in my life that I'm like, holy shit, did that happen? Like, do you know what I mean? So that's the reason why I think I was able to know at that time. Because I knew when I came through and I'm like, if I put this on the top of that story there, oh my God, like, anyone can do it now. I'm proving to myself, at that moment, I'm going to win here. And this means that the underdog can win. That's it, I just knew. So I knew I would have won that time when people do read my story, they're going to be like, what the fuck? Yeah. That's it. Like, so sometimes you get sword in jiu-jitsu or training, right? Yeah. Now, I know a guy that trains up in Team KF with Tom King and Chris Fields, and he has one leg, right? When he trains jiu-jitsu, he's one leg. He's I love spending time on him. Because times when I get hurt, I think about this guy. This guy's one fucking leg. He turns up, he trains all the time, he competes. He get guys at home, a little bit. They don't even know what it's called, they don't know what that pain is, and they just don't come.
And he can turn up with one
This guy has one leg and will wrestle you to death. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. It's one of these things I find it very inspiring. Jiu-Jitsu has a mad power in it to be able to include everybody, no matter what your background is. Like I remember in Canada rolling with judges and district attorneys and all this, and it's mental. I'm in from Johnstown, I'm strangled the judge. So it's mental.
Quality, man.
It's mental, you know, so I knew it was going to be that big, and they obviously had the lead DLC of the blood disorder. You read that in the book as well. Yeah, it was a letdown. I was still upset over it because I feel like I was out of my power. Guys can go and cheat and do performance enhancing drugs and do mad stuff and get a year ban and come back.
Yeah.
Like, and we're seeing now, that there's been like 2 deaths in boxing there. Like, we need to be getting on this stuff, you know. People can't be hitting people in the face and being on PEDs and be on drugs that are enhancing your well-being. We're already trained professionals, trained athletes at trying to hurt someone else. Can't be putting drugs in on top of that, you know. It should be made illegal, it should be punishable by a prison sentence. That's what I think, rather than it's not. This is not fucking tennis. You know what I mean? So to me, I have to retire for the greater. I had to retire for the greater good of the idea of the medicals, because that's just the way it is.
It's bigger than you think. There's a cause for everything.
Well, I can't stand here. I can't stand and say want all my lads to do their medicals and be really safe. And I need that, because like when I'm in there, it's me. I don't care. Not that I don't care, but it's me in there. I can control that. But when one of my lads and one of my girls are in there, oh, my hands are sweating. I can't control it. It's like the anxiety of watching a kid walking on a tightrope or something. I don't even know. They might be really good at it. But that's the same emotion. So I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if it wasn't the medicals that are put in place now. I need that. I need to know that. Like, their bloods are clean, their brain scans are clean, they're registered under Safe MMA and all this stuff. Now, if I was still fighting, I couldn't say that.
Yeah, good point.
You know what I mean? So it's one of these fucking catch-22 situations.
No doubt. It is, Paddy. Well, just moving on to the final part, I suppose, looking at the recent achievement that you made, like, what I found interesting is that I heard you say that, I think someone asked you, Ariel, I was watching Ariel's show, and he asked you if you were surprised that you got elected. And I already knew what you were going to say, you know, from hearing a bit about your character and stuff like that. You weren't surprised because you have tunnel vision and self-belief. Have I got that right?
Absolutely. Like, listen, let me tell you one thing about the political game and being on the inside and all this. It's full of clowns. It's full of people that want to be elected. And on the other side of that, it's full of people that should be elected and that are scraping in and scraping money, and they're absolute. The society doesn't understand that the housing estates would collapse without them people. And then you have people going in, like think about, like, so say this Maria Bailey girl that was trying to fraud the state, was holding a company ransom, asking them for 20 grand because she fell off a swing. But listen to me, she was going to another minister to get advice off them. So now you have a TD, two TDs looking at your business saying, give us 20 grand. And it's like, why? Because I fell off the swing. Hold on, she's going to bring us to court. There's a good chance she's going to win. Why? Because she's a fucking TD. She's every solicitor in the country. That company were probably panicking there in the situation. The Taoiseach, the Mozart, takes away the position that she was in, which effectively says that she was guilty of fraud. What the fuck happens? Nothing. If that was you, that was me, we'll be in court. We'll probably go to jail after this, you know what I mean? Right. The insurance companies on another hand are saying all this fraud, they've created all of this big balloon, well, you claim, so that's why I have to pay more, and that's the way it is, and all. Turns out it's not even the truth. If you look at Pierce Doherty's interview with the insurance companies, it's not even the truth. There was like 19 people or something convicted since 2014 for fraud from insurance. And we're all getting charged for it. So, the reason why I did get elected, sorry, where I went on that spirit was, the reason why I did get elected, because I'm sick of looking at them people. I'm sick of hearing about these situations. And there's no doubt they'll come after me. I've said it in every interview, because in a little while we're going to hear something crazy about Paddy Holohan. Now, I'll tell you, I'm straight. Why something crazy about me? I'll tell you now. Yeah. They're going to make her up for the great, but they'll come and get me. Because that's the way they do it. Because Maria Bailey will be on, like, right, big team sitting down, PR, let's sort this out. It's like Operation Breathing, Stop the Flood, you know what I mean, in a way. And they'll fix that in a way that they want it to be fixed. But if that was me or you, or somebody that they didn't like, there would have been another PR meeting, and that would have been about destroying you, about rolling out all the dirt on you. That's how it works. Look at it. You only have to look at the American politics. When an election's coming up, they'd be like, Michael Johnson, he kicks goats. You know what I mean? So they'll find these mad things about him back in the day, and then elaborate, and everyone's like, oh, I'm not voting for him, he kicks goats.
It's fucking true.
It's fucking true, man. It's mental. Until we start looking at this stuff, we're fucked in a way, because we're going to be going around it's like, what's right, what's wrong? They don't even have to hide the truth anymore. They just hide it in plain sight. They just hide it in front of all the bullshit, and you just mix it in. And it's like, try to find it right there, you. You won't. And when you find it, you'll be a conspiracy theorist, or you'll be a psychopath, or you'll be one of these mentalists.
Locked up in Area 51.
Yeah, that's right. You'll be a tinfoil head actor, and that's how it is. I'm telling you now. If you find the truth, if you start coming across with the truth, they will make it so crazy, so sporadic, that you will sound crazy. that's it. You start talking about this stuff that your man Lazar's talking about, you know, the Area 51 and all this kind of stuff going on. It's like,
You look crazy.
what an absolute psychopath. That's the way it is, like. So, even when you find the truth, be prepared to be a psychopath.
Fuck me. Right. Beep. It doesn't matter. Right. Fuck me. You know what I mean? Like,
Told you.
the mind just gets blown when you start talking. Like,
That's it, man.
listen, I suppose the last thing I want to ask you is, you have a big 5 years ahead of you. You have a big fucking life ahead of you, to be honest, and it's been great chatting to you and finding out a bit more about your beliefs and what you want to do and stuff. If I was to ask you, let's look at 5 years down the line, and you look at what you wanted to achieve, or whatever, could be political, could be personal.
Well, I'm 31 now, right? So I have 2 young boys. I have a lovely fiance. I have a big, huge community within my gym here. I'm successful. I have a few businesses that I'm involved in. I live where I want to live, which is my hometown, my place I grew. My mother's doing better health-wise, and to me, all of that, that's the main things. And then we just keep going day by day, and I'll be grateful every day, and day by day I'll do that. I have this big, huge, mad mission now. The mission is, I want my housing estate to be better. I want the people in my housing estate, I want the youngsters in my housing estate to realise that they're not, they're damaging themselves, and they're damaging their future, and they're damaging, I'm going to talk like an old lad, but I want them to just realise that there's so much potential inside yourself alone to do whatever you want to do. And the hard part is about finding that. When you find that, it's like setting fire to a fuse. It just goes after everything else. But don't waste your time trying to come across with like social camouflage, trying to come across as like a hard man or a gangster or all of these kind of things, because in reality it's just protection. It's one of these things, it's a primal instinct where we're trying to protect ourselves from everybody else. I'm trying to make myself look aggressive so he doesn't pick on me. And then he does it, and then he does it. We all stand around there looking aggressive, but going nowhere. So over the next little while, that's what we want to try and do. Obviously, being part of Sinn Féin and pushing this United Ireland thing is another huge thing. My grandfather said to me before, I'll never see a United Ireland son, but you might. And I remember them saying that to me. And to the idea to unite Ireland, even the word unite means everything, right? If you look at the Irish flag, it's green, white and orange, green with gold, some people might say. So it's already there, it's already united. This situation, this plan for say nationalists and unionists and everybody to live together in this equality thing, there's a few elites that are stopping this happening and that mixing up the bullshit between everyone's head. And we could all live together on the island of Ireland and all be just one, you know? So it's a pretty simple thing, but I'm mental for saying that. No, you cannot, you're back in fucking 16. But listen, we can do that. We can draw a line, get rid of all these psychopath elites, all these Theresa Mays, Boris Johnsons, all these mental cases, right? And put people in here that are talking sense, mad sense, and let's listen to them. Let's follow that forward. And then I wouldn't I'd throw this out there. There's a friend of mine, if your dreams don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. You know what I mean? We could be the president of the world. I know that sounds mental, but
it doesn't.
I walked past Alison Lupton on the other day, and I just took a picture joking, but I was saying to myself, what's he doing what's he doing that we couldn't do? You know what I mean? If the president of Ireland we give him is to represent a country, that's what it is, to represent its traditions, its cultures, what the people on the street are saying, what they sound like. That's me. You know what I mean? And in 5 years' time, I'm 34, I'll be 36 years of age, which I will be eligible to run for the president candidacy, but then I have the 60, you know what I mean? So, you know, some crazy little Georgetown youth that grew up in a single parent household, I'm the president for a little while.
And believing it is half the battle.
Absolutely, I'm telling you now, listen, if I'd have told you I was going to be where I am now, from where I came from, when you read my book and you read it, you're going to go, do you know what? Him being the president doesn't sound that crazy anymore. So to me, in my life, we flew to the moon. You know, I'm going to go to the moon, mommy. And she's like, Oh, you know, me learning where I am, I did. Do you know what I mean? Especially from where it came from, it came true. So, do you know what I mean? To me, it wouldn't be as big as what I've done already.
That's class. One final thought, because me and you had a conversation before the camera went on with regard to happiness.
Yeah.
I think everyone is looking for happiness. I thought your perspective of it was really interesting, so I just wondered if I could ask you if you could define your version of happiness.
Happiness is things that are not. So there's two types of happiness. Right? There's happiness, prolonged happiness, and then there's moment happiness. Moment happiness is when you go on holidays. Right? You're happy for a week, and then what happens is you either chase one or the other. So you go on holiday for a week, and you come back and you go to work, and you put pictures up about your holidays for the rest of the weeks, and you'll work your ass off to get to the happiness again, which is the happiness. That's synthetic happiness. It's not real. You know what I mean? You could be over there with bleeding Ted Bundy on the holidays and have a good time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, the real happiness is you waking up in the morning and you doing what you want to do, and you having the people around you that you want to have, and being truly happy with the person that you love, and all of these things, and not being manipulated, not having to do things for people because that's what you feel is going to make them happy. So some people use other people to try and be happy. Some people are trying to find happiness in other things, whether it be drugs, whether it be smoking weed, drinking alcohol. Like, to me, they're medications, and happiness is, right, if I'm a little bit damaged, if you're used to being damaged, so happiness is after that. Yeah. So people try to block out the damaged part, and then they'll see the happiness again, and then that goes out of the way, and the darkness comes back in. And so what you've got to deal with is got to get clean up, dig up that darkness and get rid of that darkness and find where you're truly happy. For me, it was through Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It wasn't always like that, but then when I found Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I walked out and I'm like floating. You know what I mean? And if the people that are not as active as that, if you have no legs and you want to be happy, here's a good way of doing it. Drive yourself out to the sea, sit yourself into the sea, up to your neck, embrace it. The cold, the mentalist, the alive, your body telling you, oh yeah, I'm here, oh yeah, I'm alive now. Someday that's going to stop, you're going to die, and you know, that's it. Whatever, we deal with that when it comes, but these moments are the moments you need to find. And I promise you, anybody that drives out to the sea, sits in the water, gets out, dries themselves, has a nice cup of hot chocolate, tells me that they're not happy, they're lying. You know what I mean? Or they have serious problems. You know, but I'm telling you, it works, and that's it. And do that every day, and you'll be happy. And then everything else will diffuse. You'll find the rest of it.
Legend. Paddy, thanks very much for taking the time, brother. Really
It's
appreciate it. Thanks so much.
It's great to see somebody doing something like this as well, because some people are doing it for themselves. And you know, you're doing something here now where you're accessing people and they're giving information that you can just give it to thousands of other people. They either take it or they don't, or they just watch this and then flick on and watch another video and flick on and then go and stick a pizza in the oven. You have to fucking take advantage of this stuff, you know what I mean?
Use the
you have to use it. It's the way it is.
Use it. Well, look, that was great. If you want to find more out about Paddy, make sure you go and buy his book. What's the book called, Paddy?
The Hooligan.
The Hooligan. Go and buy it. Thanks for tuning in to Live Chats.